It's that Dave BV. Welcome again to VPC. It's lovely to see you all. Hello, hello.
Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. All good.
Good, good. You out in the sunshine?
Yeah, out in the garden, having a beer, taking it easy, really. How about
Nice,
yourself?
nice. What are you drinking?
I've got a steady.
Yes, it's quite well known that I have a bit of an affinity with steady, so it's
Brilliant.
nice that you've got there. So, for those that don't know, and as is tradition on Virtual Pub Club, who are you?
So I'm Theo. I'm the owner of Deya Brewing Company.
Lovely stuff, and thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's I guess these sort of things are more relevant now more than ever.
Yeah,
Actually, be able to chat with people and have a beer.
yeah, definitely. And since I've been doing Virtual Pub Club, Daya's always been on there. Are you ever gonna get them on? So you've made a lot of people very happy, including myself. So again, yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no problem at all. Absolutely no problem.
So I sent some questions through
Yeah,
to you ahead of time, and hopefully it'll give everyone a bit of an insight
yeah,
into yourself and Daya overall. And
yeah.
a few people have put questions in as well, so I'm going to shotgun some of those through as we go along as well. But
Yeah, no problem.
so first things first, what was the first beer you ever brewed?
So Steady was the first beer we ever brewed. We actually started life as a gypsy brewery. So we were based in Cirencester, which is close to where we are here in Cheltenham now.
Mm-hmm.
And we used someone else's facility to make Steady. So that was our first beer. We actually only really brewed Steady for about a year. We wanted to just hone in on a good pale ale and brew that as much as possible and get it as good as possible. So that probably made the beer what it is now, I'd say. Being able to just focus on one beer solely and just try and get that just as right as possible. I think from the start we knew we were going to be a pale ale IPA brewery, or at that stage more just a pale ale brewery, and then the IPAs and double IPAs sort of fell off the back of brewing like our pale ales really, and Steady was that pale ale for us. Yeah.
Nice. So
Yeah.
how did Daya actually come to be then?
So I started the company. I went to Heriot Watt to study brewing and distilling. So I wanted to become a brewer. Wanted to start my own brewery. Had homebrewed a fair bit. Managed to get some really good experience from different breweries and stuff like that. And then I don't know. I just thought it was a really good time to start. 2015. We actually started in 2015, but we weren't really brewing. We didn't have our facility until 2016. But I think I just wanted to take that leap of faith and just go for it really. I'd say I had reasonable experience, but not like crazy amounts of experience, but I felt like enough to get things going, and it just felt like the right time and the right opportunity to do it. The scenes, like the brewing industry, has changed so much, in that 5 years. I think if we started now, it'd be a lot more difficult. The standard, the level of competition, etc. And I almost felt then like if I didn't do it now, then I'd be sort of lagging behind a little bit. So just went for it really.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
why Daya? Where's the name from?
So the name's actually a place. It's the English spelling of a place in Mallorca, which is quite random. It doesn't really have a great story to it. But one of the main things was like to have something that didn't sound English or didn't sound like English centric, like naming it after a place or something like that. Or I also didn't want to be tied by any meaning in the name. So if you name, if you have like a hoppy something brewery or whatever, then you're kind of like pigeonholed as that.
Yeah.
I wanted the name to kind of be meaningless, and then we become the name, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a generic thing that I thought wrote well and looked cool-ish, and something that we could become, as opposed to it being just like the Cheltenham Brewery or the Cirencester or New Cheltenham Brewery or whatever it might be. I felt like it gave us a little bit of just something different. I mean, where we are in the country, especially 5 years ago, there was no breweries in Cheltenham doing keg. I don't think no one had a tap room. It wasn't particularly yeah, it wasn't, there wasn't a lot. There was some good, really good pubs and really good boss shops and stuff like that, but it wasn't a lot that much going on if you compare it to like London and Bristol. So it was quite a different market we were going into. So anything that could make us stand out like that, I thought was important.
Hmm. That sounds awesome. So
Yeah.
could you go into a bit more about your journey to before you actually started the company? So what got you interested in beer and then making and then through to this?
So that I basically, when I was at university, just got really interested in drinking loads of different stuff. So mostly hoppy beers, so good American stuff, or like the early English breweries doing really, really good hoppy beers. That was the main like driving force to try and start making beer. I think it's a kind of similar story to a lot of people. It's like you start drinking stuff and become really, really interested in it, and to a point of probably obsession, and then you start trying to homebrew and realize it's quite difficult. And then I suppose it probably either goes two ways. Then you either just think, well, screw it, I prefer to just drink the beer, or you think it's actually quite, it's a fun challenge to try and make it. So I took the home brewing quite seriously, I guess. Got pretty into that. I wouldn't say I was that great at standard, but I was definitely really interested. And I think then I did some work experience at a brewery, and that kind of like set the tone for being like, okay, this is what I want to do for a living. That I want to, as a career, I wanted to do that. So that was quite a big turning point. Actually, going to a brewery, I really enjoyed like the environment in a commercial brewery. It was fun. It's really hard work, which is, I think, quite enjoyable. Like after a day, you feel like you've achieved something. It's a lot of like things going on the whole time, and I guess things that interested me, like everything was kind of there, like the actual making of it. Potentially even then, just like the idea of bringing a beer to market, like how it could be branded and stuff like that was really interesting as well. So it's like the whole concept of like not just coming up with a recipe, but then creating a way of like branding that and selling it and stuff like that was interesting as well. So I thought, I don't know, it's one of those weird things. I mean, once you find something you're interested in, you just go for it. You don't really ask why. It just seems normal.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How about yourself? What do you do?
I do fundraising.
Oh, cool. Oh, for the NHS, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
That keeps me out of trouble, I suppose. That and good beer, so yeah, can't go wrong. So if someone bumped into you in the street and asked what you do, and they said, well, what is the ethos of Deya? What makes you different? How would you describe it?
That's a big question. I'd say in terms of brewing, we definitely are making beers that we really want to make. We're definitely making beers that we're really interested in. I think we have quite a clear, when we are making different beers and also like styles that we're doing, we're very like focused and very clear about what we're doing. We don't tend to do a whole array of different stuff, but what we do, we try to do to really high standards. I think more and more as a company, we're trying to be a really amazing company to work for, and to really, for our staff and stuff like that, to be a great environment and a really fun place, but also like a place where people can improve and grow. And it also kind of feels like we're just at the start of what we want to try and do. I mean, we just moved into a new facility, we just got a new brew kit and stuff like that, which is like unbelievably exciting, because what we can do now, potential that we have now is markedly different to what we had last year, I'd say. So we really want to, there's so much stuff we want to do, and that's what's really exciting for us. It's like, I think we've reached an okay level on what we've been doing, and like the standards have been decent and stuff like that, but I really feel like we can push on now and create some incredible beers and like different styles, and kick off the mixed fermentation stuff, which is really exciting for us at the brewery. Like but then not lose sight of the hoppy beers, which obviously we've got into a good like rhythm with and a good groove. So we want to absolutely nail hoppy beers. We want to brew lots of lagers, lots of mixed ferm beers, that sort of thing. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
That sounds exciting. You just mentioned about your ethos around staff as well.
Yeah.
Mary Hoppins has just asked, and I know the backstory to this. So, who is the lady on the glue label?
That's my mum.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's my mum. Yeah. Yeah. So my mum's been there from the start. So when I was like literally home brewing, and I'd go out with like homebrew. But just before we like started brewing commercially, I'd go out with like homebrew bottles and try and give it to people and see if they're interested in stuff like that. Mum was literally there labeling stuff like that, supportive from the start. She got roped in early, and since then she basically runs our office. So she runs our account, she does all our invoicing, runs all duty stuff, payroll, VAT, like all the really heavy paperwork stuff she does. So it's pretty cool. It's a massive family environment at the brewery, and that extends to like everyone at the brewery. Everyone who works has a massive family environment. Like we try and have lunch together as regularly as possible. Like mum will cook at least once a week for the whole brewery, which is insane. We socialize together. We try and create a real tight knit group, and I think having like a family or like a team atmosphere is really critical. Like especially with a small team, and like everyone's dependent on each other. Like not one person is at, you know, any beer that we do, it's a whole multitude of factors that brings it to market, from like the person brewing it, the person cleaning tanks, the person overseeing the cellar, the people packaging it, all that sort of stuff. So it's like it's a massive team environment, and that's really evolved over time. And that's probably like, for me being the owner, that's probably I'd say like one of my biggest achievements is like seeing how we've changed from like me on my own at the start doing everything, which is probably pretty scatty to be honest, and then now it's like a group of people who are just like, everyone's like, yeah, everyone's so in tune with each other and focused and stuff like that. So it's really cool.
That's fantastic. I knew the story of. I just didn't realise that it was your mum. That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's for her birthday, so it's just a way that I could. Probably the easiest way of showing some gratitude is to make a beer for someone. So made a beer just to celebrate mum's birthday, and it's become one of our best IPAs, I think, which is really cool. And it's kind of different as well. It's like New Zealand hops, which we don't use a load, but we're using more and more because we've got better contracts with the New Zealand for the New Zealand varieties. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's really good. It's nice also for us when we do a lot of one-off stuff, and if stuff really goes well, then we'll tend to bring it back as like a semi-regular release. So like pretty much all our IPAs started like that, apart from Into the Haze, which was designed to be like a regular IPA. But a lot of them are just like beers that if they go well, then we'll bring them back, which is cool as well. That's probably part of our brewing ethos as well, actually, to be honest. Yeah.
That sounds great. So, since you've kind of walked the path from the ground up with Deya, what's the worst mistake you've ever made while brewing?
I mean, we've definitely chucked some beers over the time, but I think the one that springs to mind is we tried a brute IPA, which was my recipe, and it was just terrible. So we just chucked it away. I mean, we had beers that we chucked away because we haven't been happy with, but that was just shocking. So we just straight down the drain. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, the amount of fans that you've got, I'm sure someone would have gone, "Oh, I'll take it off your hands."
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a difficult one if you have to chuck something away. It's always a tough decision, but yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you think it takes to be a good brewer? What kind of essential skills would you look for?
I think being very self-critical, like about the beers, is really important. I think knowing what you want from a beer. So if you're starting at the beginning of the process, then going, this is what I want to achieve, and then you can sort of build up the steps to getting there. So say if you want like a really hoppy IPA, whatever it is, like a really clean lager, like knowing exactly what you want at the end helps you to then inform like the whole process. Yeah. So I think that's really key. So having like a clear idea of what you want, being critical. I think one skill that's quite hard to define is how, if you pick stuff up with your palate or like how you drink, being able to then put them back into like where that is in the process or what's happening in the process. So if you pick up a flavor that you don't really like, then you like a massive skill for any brewer is then to go and associate that flavor of where it's coming from and be able to address it and be able to sort it out. Or if you want if you like a particular flavor profile, or tweaking things or whatever it is, having the palate, I guess a good palate to then go, okay, well, this is where it's coming from, this is what's happening, let's just like go to that. Yeah I think that's important. I think being critical the whole time is important, and never thinking that anything you're doing is that great, to be honest. Like keeping level about everything, I think, is important. Yeah.
Nice.
I think
So,
one thing also from a professional, like in a big brew, or like, you know, we're not homebrew like level. We're a professional brewery, so it's like setting processes that are repeatable and everyone can carry them out is really important as well.
nice.
Yeah.
So, if I could arrange anyone in the world for you to do a collaboration with, who would you pick and why? And I know it's a horrible question to ask, but
See, I did actually have a look at these questions earlier, and I had a quick think, and I think maybe Garage Project in New Zealand, because they've got this really cool natural wine program that they've got going on, which would be incredibly interesting. Just to go there and hang out, and like, I've never tried their beers, but it seems like they nail a lot of different styles, which is really interesting to me. I think that'd be really, really cool. Like they're canning natural wine, which for me is really interesting, really exciting. Yeah, but there's loads of breweries in the UK who, like, we've done so many collaborations, which is amazing. I mean, it's such a cool part of the industry, and we love it. And you do genuinely learn a lot, and you meet so many people, and it's been a massive part of our brewery is collaborations. Like, I don't know, our where we are as a brewery would not be as I don't think we would have got to where we are as quickly without all the people that we've met and the people we chatted to and learned from and stuff like that. It's like, it's so key. So yeah.
so on that, quite a few people have asked here as well, but the Hoptometrist drinks asked Life in Sunshine and Key Lime, any plans for them to make a return in the near future?
Yeah, Sunshine, we're actually going to we're basically, I think we're going to turn that into a regular IPA, but change the name and maybe change the recipe slightly, so it won't be a collab anymore, just because we want to bring it in line with our sort of regular IPAs. So we've actually, I think we're brewing that next week. Yeah.
Exciting news.
Yeah,
I see a lot
yeah,
of people checking their bank balances right now, really.
yeah. And then we haven't done a sour IPA for a while, actually. Like, we've kind of stayed away from that a little bit. We've been, because we just moved to a much bigger brew length, we've been focusing more on the core pales and IPAs and dippers. But I think probably once we get through this strange time where we're going for like bankers a little bit at the moment, if you know what I mean, like beers that we know well from a production standpoint and beers that we know sales wise, which are going to sell well. I think once we're through that, then we'll start experimenting a bit more again.
Yeah, that sounds exciting.
Yeah,
there you go, people. You can now rest easy. You know what's coming.
Yeah.
So, obviously, taking out the frankly bonkers times we find ourselves in at the moment, you've just done this big move with and you've got the new kit. What is your hopes for the kind of next steps for Deya?
So, I mean, one of the big things for us to be launching the new tap room, because everything's ready, everything's, you know, we organize, you know, we built the whole thing and stuff like that, which is really exciting. Moving into the new space was amazing. The whole of last year was quite a big process for us, like raising money and then moving new brew kit, and yeah, it's in some ways we're so lucky that we had everything. We had the brew kit ready to go, and we've been brewing on that kit now for like 2 months. If we hadn't been brewing on that, then it would have been a massive struggle for us, because we'd be in such limbo. But then it was also such a shame, because we had the tap room ready to go, and you know, everyone could have come in and enjoyed it, and the tap room's really big and it's really cool. And so I think just getting that off the ground, like getting local people in Cheltenham down, and you know, people travel from Birmingham and Bristol and Gloucester and everything like that. It's like we have such an amazing local following, which is definitely one of the best parts of the whole brewery, is like how we've been able to provide something in Cheltenham which wasn't here beforehand, which I'm like, that's one of the biggest things that, you know, we've been able to achieve so far, is that we've actually provided something that wasn't here beforehand. And it's like really fun atmosphere, really welcoming, everyone's completely welcome, families, dogs, everything, you know. It's just like, it's really fun, and it's it's good beer at decent prices and stuff like that. So it's it's good all around, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Bit of a nerdy question, but
Yeah.
a lot of people, it's going from your old kit to a new kit. What goes
Mm.
in on the as a brewer side of things to
Mm.
kind of make that work for you?
Yeah, it is tough. It's a lot of planning, a
Mm.
lot of trying to work out how we're going to scale stuff. And like for beers that really well, it is difficult. I mean, fundamentally, the old kit was a 2-vessel, very manual, English style single infusion brew kit. And then this one's like 4-vessel German style mash mix allowed to kettle work, which is completely different.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to brew on, but it's so different. And so like translating the beers has been really interesting. But actually, touch wood, we've been really, really like happy and pleasantly surprised by how things have gone so far, which is amazing. Especially with the IPAs and the double IPAs, like the we're getting like really clean profile, and obviously our beers are just, those beers are basically about hops, really. Obviously everything's got to be in spec and good and balanced and stuff like that, but the presentation on the hops has been really, really good. So we've been really happy with those releases.
Mm.
So we've done 2 dippers so far. I Got You and Written in the Dust, and I'd say they're up there with our best double IPAs we've ever done, which is amazing. But there's like, we did our first brew of magazine cover, which is a new like session ale, session IPA. We did one on the old kit, one on the new kit, and the new kit we weren't quite as happy with it. Still really liked it, obviously, but we weren't quite as happy with it. So it's like different styles maybe lend themselves to different kits, all that sort of stuff, and it's like just trying to get everything together. I'd say everything for us has always been driven by like how we're tasting stuff and our palates and stuff like that. So it's just like constantly trying to taste stuff and make sure that we're feeding that back into what we're doing and getting things right. So yeah.
Nice.
Steady's kind of the one though, isn't it? It's like we need to get that right. If that's us as a business, is Steady Running Man. So that's like the most important thing for us, is getting that bang on.
Christmas in my house was me and my old man. His favourite's Into the Haze.
Nice.
Mine's Steady, and the debate between us is actually, it sounds really boring to say that's the debate between a father and son, really, doesn't it? But
I've seen a few people, put what they prefer and stuff. That it's good. Like we're always it's very humbling having people who are so interested in the brewery and the beers and stuff. That's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, on the night of talking about what you've been generating and the brilliant dippers you brought out, the Love of Beer asks, is there plans for a tipper in the pipeline?
We haven't actually considered that. I don't know why. I think, like I said, about ethos and brewing, it's like everything that we do would come from what we are drinking or what we're really into, and not many of us are drinking tippers, to be honest. But maybe we should be. Maybe he knows.
That sounds good. Hoppy Raptor asks if you've got plans to bring out any more in cask soon as well. Obviously, when this lifts.
Yeah, potentially. There's definitely potential for that. So at the moment, one of the other really good things about the move that we just done is potentially having more opportunity for variety because of the tank space that we'll have. So we can brew more different beers, which would be really, really good. Because even on our old space, we were a little bit limited in terms of what we could brew. I mean, in an ideal world, we'd probably want to bring out more beers each week. That's not really like a production decision. It's more that we're a little bit limited by the amount of tanks that we have. But going forward, we should have more variety coming out. So we really, really liked the cask beer we did for the Affinity Festival. So I would really like to do that more and potentially maybe roll that out for like the local market to have cask. Because when we first started trying to sell our beer here in Cheltenham and like in the local market, not like 75-80% of places were like, no way, you don't do cask. So that was like that, and we were happy to stick to our guns. Like, no, we got keg, and then they were like, oh, it's way too expensive and stuff like that. And like, okay, probably not the right place. But anyway, it's like it'd be a really cool thing. I mean, we want to be approachable for everyone. It's like if you're a pub that can't put keg on because you're tied on keg lines, but you have cask lines and you really want to put the beer on, then okay, sweet, we can offer you something and get a good local following. I can't see us doing cask outside of the local market, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we potentially could do those beers in can, but more geared towards a cask profile. So like Boxcar, I've been doing the dark, mild, and the best bitter and stuff like that have been really well done in terms of like the carbonation almost replicating cask and like the profile and stuff like that. So like I think in terms of like modern English styles, they're doing an amazing job at doing that, and that's definitely something that we're interested in, and I personally love those styles, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. I'm in.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I said to you, I don't know why I'm going to be mean, but if you could only ever drink one style of beer for the rest of your life, what are you picking and why?
I think I'd pick pale ales or good pilsner. Yeah, I'd pick pale ales. I think definitely the cornerstone of our brewery, and then I think if I go to a pub or go to a bar or whatever, that's what I'm looking to drink, is like a really good pale ale. Yeah, lower ABV. I think, yeah, I tend to drink slightly lower ABVs, but yeah, good pale.
So
How about
the
yourself?
magazine cover
What would you choose?
It's steady, isn't it? We know this. It's people get. After every virtual pub club, I get quite a few sarky messages from my friends of, oh, drinking steady again, are you? So yeah, so
Yeah,
I won't. Just because you're on, I won't belabor the point too much because I'll get sick
yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah.
So what was the last beer you had that wasn't one of your own?
Last beer I just had before coming on here, Colonel Damson Sour. We just bought loads of Colonel beers and they were epic.
Nice.
The last beers we've had in the house are Boxcar, Don Zacco, Colonel, Harvey's. Yeah, they've all been amazing. Just really,
Nice.
really well made. Yeah, really drinkable styles. Yeah.
Nice. So you mentioned earlier you prefer kind of a lower ABV personally. Is that kind
Yeah.
of what steered you into magazine cover?
Yeah. Yeah, we also felt like we hadn't really nailed a 4% beer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's kind of like a big focus for us this year, is to the tappy pills that we've done, we feel like we're really getting places with as like a really good classic German Pilsner. But a really big focus at the brewery now for us is getting tappy pills to be really, really high quality. Like we want to have an amazing Pilsner as our Pilsner. And for magazine cover, just an amazing smashable 4% pale would be, yeah, that's what we're going for. And I think we're getting there, but it just takes time to brew it a few times. You think about Steady Rolling Man, we've brewed it so many, we bring it every week. There's so much not necessarily, well, there is consistency in it, but we're constantly brewing it. We're constantly trying to improve it. It's like, it's a beer that we've just brewed the whole time, so we know it inside out. Whereas these other beers, we don't brew as regularly. So I want to nail those really sessionable, well-made styles, which are like classic, like either classic German or classic English or whatever. Like really good, amazing beers tend to be extremely drinkable, but flavorful enough that you can, think, wow, that tastes amazing, or you can discuss it or whatever. But at the end of the day, they just drink amazingly well. And I think that's a big thing in the brewery at the moment, is how do we make those beers which are just delicious, Which
So
they've always been. And the high ABVs are delicious as well, but on normal nights, you want to share some double IPAs with people, whatever, or drink, maybe one. But if you can make some like amazing low ABV beers, it's really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Is the idea behind magazine cover that there's going to be different editions, given the can art and the name?
No, that was just the can art. Actually, that it's going to be as it is to stay. But maybe once we hit on maybe we'll like tweak a few things and maybe tweak the hop profile, whatever, and then hit on the final thing. But yeah, the artwork's kind of a bit mad. But our artist is he's a big character. He's a really amazing guy to work with, and shout out to Tom. He's a great guy, and he really he's been a massive part of what we've done as well. He's been there from the start, and he's really been a key factor in what we're doing. And I think we're improving with him, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like each year or each 6 months, whatever, we're getting better, and
Yeah.
he's a massive part of that as well.
Yeah, you don't confuse a Deya with anything else there, like
No,
the artwork on there. So
no.
how did that relationship come to be, and how come you're doing adult size cans, which I'm very happy about.
So with Tom, he was introduced to me through a friend who was at art school with him, and then she was just like, "This guy would be perfect." I met him, and I think I had a really clear idea at the start of what I wanted, and then since then I've just allowed me and him work together on every label. So I'll give him a brief on stuff, and then he'll take it and do his thing. But normally, I don't know, now after 5 years, we have a good synergy of what's going on. And he knows what I would look for and what I'd want. And things have changed so much. I mean, like Steady Rolling Man label is so different to what we're doing now, to some of the labels that are coming out. And that's cool as well, because then we have like Steady Rolling Man as like 50% of our business, and it's our main beer, Steady Rolling Man. But we have all this other stuff that's going on, which is really interesting, and constantly bringing out new things. And it's really exciting for us to try new things and do new things, and having Tom there to constantly be doing new stuff. I think one of the massive shames of breweries that get quite big and they don't really try new stuff. They're not really doing anything. Do you know what I mean? They're just banging out their core range, which is just a bit. I mean, if they do it well, then okay, that's fine, and that's their business or whatever. But I think the best thing about all these new breweries is trying new stuff, doing new interesting stuff, but obviously doing it to a high standard as well. So, yeah, I think Tom's been a big part of helping us to achieve that.
Did he design the shirts that are available?
Yeah. They're a bit funky, those, aren't they?
They're very good. We had
You got the brave to wear them
last week, and Dave from
was
Wyland
Dave wearing one? Yeah,
Yes,
he loves it.
Yeah, great stuff. Bold, very bold.
Yeah.
So obviously, when all this blows over, the official launch of the opening of the tap room will be rescheduled. What's your favourite tap room that you've been to, and why?
Such a good question, that. We went on a trip to America last year to do our hop section, and then we went across to the East Coast, went to Bissell Brothers and Maine Beer Company, which are pretty amazing. Just really cool tap rooms, really like vibrant, big, clean, really amazing beer. People just having a really, really good time. I think Bissell Brothers, you could definitely tell there was like a community around there that was just really interested, and yeah, it was really cool. It was really good atmosphere, which I really, really enjoyed. And Maine Beer Company was just like so beautiful.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm going to just chuck this one out because it's popped up on my phone. So I think it's a brilliant question. How do you come up with the names for your beers from Hop Mania?
Yeah, it can be quite random, to be honest. A lot of them are lyrics from songs. A lot of our beers, or things people have said. It can be a little bit random. I kind of it's a bit. There's no like
logical tone to it.
There's no it's not like Magic Rock where there's like a magic theme to their beers. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't have that. It's very like on the whim sort of thing, but at the same time, we try and make it fun and interesting, and I guess we don't take ourselves too seriously with that sort of stuff without being ridiculous. But because like some name, I know how it's like, is kind of, some names are ridiculous from us probably, and from different breweries and stuff like that, but it is what it is, that's
Tim Good points out, invoice me for the microphone. Is there a particular backstory to that?
Yeah, so that's Sir Alex Turner, when he did an acceptance speech at like the Brits or something like that, he did a speech, and at the end he said, invoice me for the microphone.
Brilliant.
So that comes from that. There's quite a few Arctic Monkeys things going on in our different beers. Yeah.
Nice. Craft
Yeah.
Beer Mark asked, is there any plans? So he runs a bottle shop in Germany, and he wondered if there's any plans for you to extend out into Europe.
Yeah, I think once we get through the other end of this, there's certainly opportunity for us to export. Our sort of general feeling towards export was that we could never supply our local market / Bristol, London. We don't really have any beer up north at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, we really wanted to, those people that could get it close to home, we really wanted to supply them, as opposed to just going to export, where there was a lot. We've always had demand for export, but we've always thought it'd be better off trying to look after people closer to home. But as we get more volume, we'll definitely look to export more. From a business point of view, it definitely makes sense as well. So it's, you know, we want to export, but then there's so many different factors. I mean, like, for the styles that we do, export's not ideal, I wouldn't say. All our beers at the moment, you'd want to drink fresh. You want them in people's hands literally days after it's been canned, which we can pretty much do at the moment. And there's something, I think there's something nice about, you know, supplying. You know, if there's someone in Newcastle who wants the beer, you know, being able to say yes to that, as opposed to, oh shit, we just sent a pallet to, you know, Russia or something. You know, there's no real connection when there is a connection, but it's different, you know. So export's going to become a thing, but yeah.
Nice. So one of the questions I sent you, I'm gonna kind of split into two, because I think there's an obvious answer.
Is it too dark ahead here, or is it right?
You are getting it slightly into the darkness. There's already Theo in the Darkness pun names for your next dark beer. So
new beer.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a question I got asked a lot.
I'll go close towards the house. It's a bit more light.
So one of the questions I got asked was about basically stouts and dark beers. Is it like you said earlier, that it's not something that you and the team drink on a regular basis, hence why it's not something that's so regular? Or
I think we do. It's a difficult one, because we definitely do drink quite a lot of dark beers, but is that better?
Lovely. Illuminated for you.
Yeah. But we don't drink those styles as much as the pale ales and IPAs and double IPAs and stuff like that. We would like to offer more variety, but it also comes down to our brew length and our tank size and things like that. So we'd like to brew Hokum Stomp more, which is our porter. But the new brew lengths that we have is quite sizable. So, like, packaging that, canning that. If you we always want variety when you come to our tap room. That's a massive thing about brewing different beers and doing different styles. Like, if you come to our tap room, we want to have like 10 different beers on, and we don't want it to be like just pale ales and IPAs. But at the same time, when we're brewing now, if you package all that in porter in cans, it's going to sell 10 times slower than an IPA. So that's a commercial consideration as well. I mean, we definitely don't drink those. No one at the brewery is really into imperial stouts, to be honest. So that's why we don't brew them. I think we probably take the brew what we want to drink, or brew what we're interested in, quite like that is a genuine thing. Like, if someone comes to me and says, I really want to brew this beer, I really love this style, here are the reasons, whatever, and then we'll definitely look at it. But, you know, after work, people want a pint of steady or a pint of pills. To be honest, they're not. That's kind of what we're oriented around.
Nice. That sounds well. Sounds like the right way to do it. To be honest, well, it's obviously the right way to do it, because you're still here. So
yeah.
Someone's asked, and it's something I normally ask the bloggers. If I was to chuck you on a desert island and you only got 3 beers and they can't be your own, what would you take and why?
Augustine Helles. Probably a Cantillon sour.
Nice.
And like a good English cask beer, like tribute or something.
Nice. Yeah, good answers. Hopefully keep them cold on the island, but yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, exactly.
So, as I say, the question I was going to ask you, which I think's got quite an obvious answer, is if someone's never tried a Deya, what beer
Yeah,
would you suggest to them?
I think definitely
So,
Steady Rolling Man,
yeah,
because it's like 50% of our production is pretty much everything that we're about is in that beer. It's really hoppy, it's juicy, but it's easy to drink and it's sessionable to an extent, and hopefully a really good representation of our beers in general. Just really nice to drink, really flavorful, balanced, and yeah, high standard, high quality, and really delicious.
it's a good answer. And if I was to say same question, but for someone that's only ever ordered Steady Rolling Man, for instance, if
Yeah.
you said try this is something you should try, what would you put in front of them?
Probably our lager, Taffy Pills.
Nice.
That's one that we're definitely working on a lot, and I feel like we're going to get places with, and I think hopefully that will surprise people. Well, I'd like people to be surprised by that.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So, obviously, we're in this funky time of isolation and not going out places. Once we
Yeah.
get to that point, have you thought about doing any kind of online tour of the brewery and what people can expect, or is it all going to be an exciting secret for launch day?
I mean, it's something I think we should be looking at. I mean, at the moment, so far, I think we've just been just heads down, just trying to get through it, if you know what I mean. But I certainly do think we should be looking at something like that. Whether we'll do it or not, I don't know. It would be really cool though if we just opened up and then people see the new tap room for the first time. I just saw Park Brewery come up and they've seen it. Sam's been in.
Lucky. I'm hoping that I wouldn't have been able to have made it.
It's quite similar to the old tap room, but just twice the size and a massive outside space and maybe a little bit more specky. But there's 25 draft lines as well, so hopefully we can serve our banging pales, IPAs, mixed ferm beers, lagers, everything. We want like a full range in there, barrel-aged beers, whatever it is, you know. So it's like a full experience when you come here, and you can get all the freshest cans, you can get all the freshest releases of our. We've already packaged 2 mixed fermentation beers this year already. So yeah, when people come down, hopefully it'll be an amazing experience. Good food trucks, good music, good vibes.
Sounds terrific. So where can we hear more about the new things that are coming?
So we basically just put everything on Instagram, and probably as a brewery, we're not that amazing at feeding information the whole time, which we probably need to get better at. But we don't have anyone in sort of social media and marketing or anything like that. I just do it myself. So we tend to just put up the information on Instagram, get the information out there, and try and talk to people as best as possible. I think we can be a little bit slow to reply and stuff like that. So apologies if anyone's experienced that. But yeah, Instagram's the place. Instagram's the place. Like Twitter, we're pretty rubbish at, to be honest.
Yeah, that sounds smart. And where do people buy your beer?
So obviously tap room locally in Cheltenham. Now we've managed to get onto a load of different places, which is really, really exciting for us. And then up in London, Bristol, Birmingham. As we've expanded recently, we'll have more and more Steady Rolling Man kegs going out to distributors. Should have our beer on draft in those different places. If you go to our website, you can see where our beer's like permanently on, which is really nice. We just started to work directly with bottle shops as well. So previously, all our cans have been tap room and web shop only. And then recently, we've been able to go, right, these are the bottle shops that we want to work with. We're working directly with them. And I think we've got about 50 bottle shops that we're going to work directly with, which is really, really cool. So we can actually provide fresh beer for them. I think it's going to be like 2 cases off each release. It's going to go to all those bottle shops. We should probably put a list of that on our website. And so people can go get fresh beers from them or get it from our website or wherever, really.
That sounds exciting.
Hopefully it's going to be around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a positive that's come out of the weird time that we're in at the moment is that, you know, say my local bottle shop has been able to get stuff from you as well now. So it's
Yeah,
great to see that that's happening. So yeah, good stuff.
yeah, it's cool. I think also that's a sort of service that we haven't been able to provide in the past, is actually been able to get beer to all those amazing like independent bottle shops and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
we've really wanted to, but we've never had the volume for. So now going forward, being able to provide that for those people is really important. I mean, there's so many breweries who are expanding really quickly and then going to supermarkets, and kind of bottle shops are kind of left in the wake of that a little bit. So I think us being able to do that is a really important thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
while also having our web shop where we can work directly with people as well.
Brilliant. Well, that's where you can look out for your local bottle shops, and also get on the website to get some fresh Deya. Theo, is there anything you'd like to have a little rant about? Any beer things, or would like to promote something before I let you go?
I don't think so. Just hope everyone's staying safe, staying well, trying to get through these times as best as possible. Obviously, it's pretty rubbish for everyone. So as long as everyone's staying positive, staying healthy, staying happy,
Yeah.
and then we'll see everyone on the other side, hopefully, for a good beer.
Well, I think there's going to be a mass road trip down, across your way soon. So
Yeah.
well,
If anyone who's listening, or whatever, just get in touch with us, and if they do come down, then we'll show you around and make a good time of it.
awesome. Well, Theo, thank you so much, honestly, for giving up your time this evening.
Yeah, no worries at all.
And,
No worries.
It's been great to hear from you, and keep doing what you're doing. So I love it. A lot of people seem to love it. I look forward to seeing you on the other side of this.
Cheers, mate. Thank you so
Cool.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time. Cheers.
No, my pleasure. Take care.
Cheers, man.